All right. So here's the good news, Lisa. I didn't hear that we're recording now. So now we're going to find out if mine's recording. Everyone's more than willing to record if you'd like. I'm going to be recording as I am. It just hit right now. And most importantly, I will have this. Uh, I will have this. Uh, Not this particular version, but I will have a version of this put out, I believe, Thursday or Friday of this week on my YouTube channel. So if you have not
Sorry.
subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. It is Coach Lee Rosa, and that is on YouTube. I put out a video every single week, and ideally, I'll be putting out there anything you really want it to be. So it's your show. I'm here, just kind of facilitating our journeys together. But so let's dive in. Thank you again for being here, and today we're going to dive into the life plan, which is a series of models that stack together, build a life's plan. And it's personal and professional planning all built together with different systems. And so some of you guys know me intimately. Some of you guys don't, but I'm born and raised here in South Florida. I lived in Orlando from 97 to 2011 and actually sold real estate. I'll talk about that in Orlando and Miami for 2.5, 3 years, but I'll get to that in a second. I ran track and cross country, Division One for University of Central Florida from 97 to 2000 and got my license in '05. I formed a business partnership with still my business partner, Ralph, in 2010. And we are still 15-year business partners with our director of operations being with us 13 years. We moved to South Florida in 2011, and we sold both markets for a couple years after that before it was a thing and before it was cool. We were just like, why would we stop selling in Orlando? We're crushing it. Let's just build again in South Florida. I was hired as the team leader in my real estate office in 2016 and still running that position along with my real estate business, along with the coaching business and partridge in a pear tree. Our real estate team has closed over 1,800 closings, and we've been averaging 85 closings since I moved into the team leader position each year. I've recruited over 800 agents, so if growth is something that's important to you, we got that. And I have coached five 20 under 30 members in the last 4 years, which is a pretty cool thing that I like to hang my hat on, um, because the consistency of like the legacy of agents that have been with my company and have left, and as they've used the principles and foundations, I think is pretty cool. With Glover U, again, thank you guys for taking time out of your day. And our real estate team has 4 agents, 2 employees, and our office, 2 employees, 5 leadership council members, and 170 agents. So, little enough about me. Let's dive into the life plan. The purpose of models is simply to borrow the best thinking. A mentor of mine said life should all be about chasing models. Have foundational models, read books, go to seminars, listen to others to challenge your current models, to challenge your systems to see if what they're sharing is better so that you can just top grade. And so the key with a strong foundation is to go deep. Here in South Florida, our shoreline is with massive, high-end, beautiful condos. And what they do first is they go super deep, like way deep down into the earth to then go super high. And they do that because without a strong foundation, this happens. And this here is a high-rise condo in China, which during high storms was just toppled over from a crazy anomaly of high winds, just knocked this thing right over. Now, if you notice in the background, it narrowly missed another high rise. It narrowly missed it. Imagine if that was next to it. The catastrophe, the lives that would have been affected. And so take that visual, take that energy, and ask yourself, how deep is my foundation in business planning, in life planning, in being organized, in being systematic? Because am I a market shift away? Am I a decision away from my business, my income, my opportunities toppling over? And what other lives am I affecting from that? Just like this building. So, enough of those questions. Let's dive in. So, the purpose of setting goals is simply to create the best possible outcome along with the best version of yourself that you must become to execute and implement the systems. See, a goal is simply who you have to become and the systems that you have to build and stack to achieve the goal. You can't do the same thing and increase your results. You have to adjust and make changes, which is the whole purpose of goal setting. Because systems are strengthening you as you pursue your goals. Because if your systems aren't strengthening, if your systems aren't being challenged, if your models aren't breaking, then just maybe you have the wrong goals. Because the purpose of goals is simply to bring the best out of you. That's all. It's not to add pressure and feel some type of way. It's just to adjust and become the best version of us. So, very famous sculpture. It is the sculpture of David. And I share this with you guys because what the artist said about this sculpture is in direct alignment with the purpose of having clear, purposeful goals. And now I will connect the dots for you. Check out this quote. I created a vision of David in my mind and simply carved away everything that was not David. When it comes to your goals, when it comes to what you want to achieve, is everything else part of this? And what would it look like if you had the blinders on, like a racehorse, being laser focused in what your goal is, like Michelangelo was with David? I created a vision of David in my mind and carved away all of the excess and stayed laser focused on what my vision was. So now what we'll do is we'll dive into the four powers that I, as your coach, have the opportunity to help you build clarity, certainty, courage, and consistency. So let's break this down. So the power of clarity is that to see clearly. And it's clarity to help you identify your goals, your purpose, and the path necessary to achieve them. Without clarity, people feel lost or overwhelmed. Without clarity, everything is a priority. Without clarity, other people's problems become your problems because it almost becomes a reason to just not do what it is that we want to do because we're not clear in what it is that we want to do. Certainty. It's the power to believe what's possible. Bold action, focused action is vital to hit certainty with our goals because it's never a straight line. And yet, the ability to get back on track, the ability to keep our head on straight is the key, which then leads to courage. And this is the power to take action, even though we live in fear or embrace fear or have fear or lack of focus. When an agent is scared or fearful of expired listings, it's our opportunity to role play. It's our opportunity to discuss best practices. My goal with 2025, my hallucination is that every call we will come with laser focus of what is getting in the way of our absolute clarity of our drive going forward so that we can move to number 4, which is consistency. And that's the power to keep going. It's the power to keep going. Consistency, effort, growth, tightening our systems, getting, as Handsome said at the beginning of the call, 1% better. Just getting little steps better. Little steps better. Now that we created the foundation of my relationship to you, the power of going deep, which is slowing down, to build a system, to build goals, to be laser focused on what those goals do for us. Let's dive into the life plan. And so this is the different systems inside of the life plan. And it's the 8 gardens, first creation, second creation, goal setting to the now, understanding what SMART goals are, embracing the 411, slowing down enough to execute a life happiness audit, and then putting it all together in the Sunday system for success. So, how do we create certainty in an uncertain world? All the variables involved in life, its beliefs, its memories, and most importantly, it's how we use our imagination. Which brings me to the gardens. Now, each one of you, when we started coaching, I sent you an email and I said, hey, here are the 8 gardens, set goals in each one of these circles, each one of these plants. And I call them gardens, or I was learned to call them gardens, because if we do not water a garden, it dies, or wilts, or changes. And Gary Keller teaches that everything is balls that we're juggling up in the air. Are all juggling balls. In this case, we're all watering gardens. There are 2 gardens that, or let me say this differently. There are 2 gardens that are different than the others. You see, all of the balls are made of rubber except 2, or 2 of the gardens are vitally more important than the other. Relationships and health are the 2 balls that if they were dropped or not watered, would irrevocably change. Where lifestyle and adventure is a rubber ball. It may not bounce up as high as it did. Your career, your business, hey, it might not bounce up as high as it did before, but it's not going to scuff. So as we're going forward on the gardens, understand that each one has its place. However, our health and our relationships absolutely must have a focus, have a purpose, and clarity around the why specific goals are important to us. And so health and wellness is just that. Spirituality, contribution, this could be donations, this could be volunteering, this could be meditation, this could be going to church or synagogue. Doesn't have to be religious. It's more otherly or what's bigger than us. Business and career. That is, what other businesses do you have outside of real estate? If you were to have employees versus your production versus other aspects of your spokes of income, think of business and career as just that, your different spokes of income. Personal growth, that's your growth plan. What are we reading? What are we watching? What events are we going to? Lifestyle and adventure, vacations, experiences. How do we stay young at heart? How do we stay on our toes? What are we looking forward to? Friends, family relationships. This could be our children. This could be our spouse. This is our parents, our siblings, and friends. Every month, I break down a list of all of my closest friends. I don't get to every single thing, but I'm always thinking of how can I move the relationship forward? How can I move the relationship forward? Financial investment. What are our financial goals? What are our investment goals? Is it to invest in our crypto account? Is it to get another income producing property? Is it to have a certain amount in the bank? Is it a certain net worth number? And then environment and tribe. Environment and tribe. This I have as because I have a leadership council in my office. That's my leadership council. My top 20% of agents in my world. This could be your bowling team or your kickball team, or what is a group of people that you want to laser focus on that brings you joy, energy, and fulfillment. They don't have questions on the different gardens.
Yes, I do.
Go
All
ahead.
right. So with everything, with health and relationships, and I guess with everything, everything takes time, right? And building relationships takes time. So if we have a sizable amount of people that we're building and nurturing relationships with, what is a good recommendation on how to invest time in the relationship with being mindful of what we need to do for the rest of the day and not feeling that it's a rushed um ulterior motive type
Yep. Yep.
process.
So respectfully, I think you're confusing friends, family, and relationships with our job as professional real estate agents. So let me give clarity. Okay, I'll give clarity. So, and I'm going to get into this later, but I'll pop it now. I'm going to talk about SMART goals, which are specific, measurable, attainable, repeatable, and timely.
Mm-hmm.
So for family, friends, and relationships, one of the goals I have is 52 date nights with my wife.
Okay.
It's not a date every week, it's 52 for the year.
Okay.
Boom, there's the goal.
So it's quantified. Okay, good.
Absolutely. So when it comes to relationships for our business, that's a 36 touch. That's a model that we will execute to that's different. That would be part of your career. This is your best friends, your closest group of friends. And you could add to it, this is more of your tight group knit friends, has nothing to do with business.
Absolutely. And the reason why I ask is because real estate is one of those businesses where it is your life. It's weekends, it's after hours. So say for example, you have a friend that wants to do something on the weekend or after, and then it's like, okay, I want to spend time with you, but then there's also a business uh commitment that we have.
So here's a foundational truth.
Okay.
What you say yes to, you're actually saying no to something else.
Yes.
When you have absolute clarity and you do exactly what you say you're going to do,
Mm-hmm.
you now have clarity. When you are clear in what the mission is and you actually do what you say you're going to do, when you said you were going to do it, which means it found a place in your calendar and this is where that goes. This
Okay.
gets blurry when you don't do what you said you were going to do, and you're like, oh, I'll
Mm-hmm.
do it later. And then all of a sudden, later becomes later, and
Mm-hmm.
you're like, oh, shoot, I was supposed to do this. And then all of a sudden, things get gray and murky.
Okay. So almost like, so we're going to assign times that fit with our schedule and then say, well, this is what we have. And then our friends, family would somewhat flex to that.
What if you did it the other way? What if you looked at your next 6 months to a year with Tony and you
Hmm.
blocked out all of your personal time first
Okay.
and then sprinkled your business in what was left?
Okay. And then if when something comes up that is needs some attention, that is, say, for example, you get a listing that just comes on the time that you allocated and you want to go do that.
What you say yes to, you say no to
You know,
something
too.
else.
This is
See, this
true.
is a fact. And you see, we blur all the lines and we go sideways on things because we're not clear in what truly speaks to us.
Hmm.
Now, I don't have kids, but I have a feeling that if you miss enough recitals and you missed enough soccer games, that your relationship with your children's going to be a little bit strained. This is no
Yes.
different. What listing could be more important than the soccer game? And though we're not talking about the soccer game right now.
Hmm.
So the beautiful part is you ask the question and there's always an answer. It's just
Hmm.
not the sometimes you have to eat your broccoli and take the medicine, which
Correct.
is when
Correct.
you do what you're supposed to do and you are clear in what supposed to do is, everything else usually cleans itself out.
Hmm.
Usually. But lack
Usually.
of clarity in what the specific. So one of the first conversations we had, Sherry, was the 20%.
Hmm.
The activities that, but when we don't do those activities and we do a bunch of other things, all of a sudden it's like, well, we need to do this, but wait, we had this date, or hey, we were hanging, but no, I have to do this. That's where it starts to go sideways.
Yes. Yes.
I get it.
Certain circumstances,
And
definitely.
there's
Yeah.
always unique situations, and that's what makes us great business people is our
Absolutely.
ability to make the right decisions at the right time for the right reasons.
Yeah. And that just brings me to some a little soundbite that I heard earlier today saying that everyone has issues or problems, challenges, whichever word you want to fit in there. But the successful people have found ways to overcome them. And I'm like,
Yeah,
that really seems to resonate with what you're saying right now. We're finding solutions to and everything. Anyway, I don't want to
yeah,
take up
well done. Yeah, no, no,
too
great
many of other
job, great
people.
job.
Yes,
Another way of saying that is there are no problems, only solutions.
I love it.
So here is one of the second I heard this, absolutely changed, it connected a lot of dots, I should say. And it's called first creation, second creation. First creation, second creation is first we must visualize it. First we must think it before it can be. And I have a video or a picture there, the GIF of a 3D printer. And that is the absolute, like, if you wanted to, like, oh, let me try to like visualize what first creation, second creation is, think of a 3D printer. A 3D printer can print a house that we can live in, it can print cars, it can make guns, and a lot more. But it can't do any of it if it wasn't thought of first. It's this amazing technology that can't do anything unless it is told what to do. First creation is allowing the universe to provide you everything that your heart desires. It's slowing down enough to be crystal clear in what you want and allow it to happen. To where I have at the bottom a properly trained imagination should make the realization of your vision feel like deja vu. Because deja vu is just that. You already thought of it, you experienced it, but you now felt it in reality and went, wait, I just had deja vu. Imagine if that is how clear we are in everything we want in our gardens. You see, I'm connecting the dots right now. The purpose of goal setting inside of your gardens is to do first creation, second creation. So we vision our success, we set clear goals, we design a business plan, and we are clear in our tools and systems. That's first creation. Visualize our success, set clear goals, design a business plan, and then prepare our tools and systems. First creation. Second creation is taking action, doing the damn thing, tracking our progress, adapting the plan, and providing exceptional service. Unreasonable hospitality. The second piece of this is the reverse bucket list. And so many of us have been exposed to what a bucket list is, and that is everything we want to do before we die. All the cool things we want to do that we want to strive to have, experience before we die. Which is cool. We should all have that. The reverse bucket list is all the things we've already done, purchased, acquired, experienced, accomplished. A trick with the reverse bucket list is to document everything you do with photos and or videos, not for social media, but for you. And time block once a week, once a month, at least once a quarter. It'll just take longer. And go back through your stuff, go all the way back to, if you did the quarter, go back to October 1st and just scroll through your pictures and go, oh, hey, I forgot about, oh, hey, I forgot about that. Hey. So I'll tell you guys a little story. I went on a cruise with my family a couple weeks ago for Thanksgiving, and each morning I woke up around when the sun came up. It was quiet on the yeah on the cruise ship, and I had my journal. And the last 3 days, I broke my 8 gardens out, and I was writing not only my reverse bucket list, but also kind of what came to my mind in each of my gardens. So reverse bucket list goals, reverse bucket list goals, and it just whatever came to mind. And I created a good list of things that I remembered from my reverse bucket list. I knew that I only remembered this much. I knew I only remembered this much of everything, but I wanted to do this experiment to see what I would remember. The second I got home, like within 2 hours, this was the first thing that I did. I went into my already made reverse bucket list to see what I missed, what I forgot. And one of the things which brought tears to my eyes was I made a decision at the beginning of this year. I'll explain Steffi in a second. I made a decision at the beginning of this year where I thought, you know what? Victor Wembanyama, who, if those of you that follow basketball or don't follow basketball, is a 7'6" point guard. Unbelievable. And he was the first pick in the NBA last year, and he is an absolute freak of nature. Will, as long as he stays healthy, be the greatest basketball player to ever play. And the East Coast teams only play the West Coast teams one time a year. And I was like, I know my dad would appreciate this. Tomorrow's never promised. And what if Wembanyama gets hurt? So I splurged on lower bowl tickets, took my dad, and we had an amazing time. It was like we just vibed. I have a beautiful relationship with my dad. There wasn't anything stuck there. It was spontaneous. I took him. We had an amazing time, and it was on my reverse bucket list. But if it wasn't, it was gone forever. It was gone forever unless somehow I remember because something triggered the memory. The key with the reverse bucket list is don't apologize for being awesome. You all do badass, amazing, awesome things. Jot them down. Have the time to reflect because you do awesome things and it's not fair to ever remember. Last point on this. I have a leadership council 3 years ago. It was June. We were all sitting around a table. And I said, all right, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to name off all the cool shit we've done January through June. All right, start first. Next person went. They named 3 or 4 things. Next person went. They're like, I got 5 or 6 things. Next person went, named 3 things. And I stopped them. And I said, I love that you guys are participating and sharing. May I share the purpose of this? And I went, pulled my list out, and I told story, like I just did with the Victor Wembanyama story. And I said, you guys have kids. You have families. You didn't name anything you did 6 months ago. You just named whatever was top of mind right now because that's all you can remember, and it's not fair for you to remember what you did a year ago, year and a half ago. This is your time to slow down and smell the roses. Walk in your gardens and provide the opportunity for your life to be more fulfilled because you already did this shit while you're chasing all the good stuff. Does that make sense? I spent
Mhm.
a lot of time on this with you guys. And then the 5 future greatest hits is you taking 5 things that you want on your bucket list and write them out in paragraph form. with absolute clarity of what it looks like. Allow first creation, second creation to do the heavy lifting of your 5 future greatest hits. All right, now goal setting to the now. This is a goal setting model, and it starts with someday, 5 years, 2025, January, first week of January, today, and what am I going to do right now that will move me closer to finishing today's task, which will help me move forward this week, which will help me crush January, which will move me closer to 2025's goal, which will move me closer to my 5 year goal and in alignment with my Sunday goal. So let's put this into perspective. Someday goal, I want to run a marathon on every continent, excluding Antarctica.
That is an actual goal.
No, but I'm giving you
Okay.
absolute clarity on how it goes.
Okay.
5 year goal, I'll run New York, Berlin, and Sao Paulo within the next 5 years. 2025's goal, I will run 20 miles without stopping. January or this month's goal, I will have, I will run a total of 10 miles. Total of 10 miles in the month of January. This week's goal, I will buy new shoes. Today's goal, put it in my calendar that I'm going this week to get shoes. What can I do right now? Stop what I'm doing and put it in my calendar. See, Sherry, we make this so much more complicated because we're not crystal clear in how to win.
Absolutely. And then also we lose focus a lot of times.
Goal setting
That
to the
laser
now
focus. Yeah.
brings everything to absolutely what can I do right now that will move me closer to today's goal, that will move me closer to my week's goal. And I'm going to share with you guys the model in a moment how to do that. Next is SMART goals. You see, they must be specific. They have to be measurable. They got to be attainable. We got to be able to do it over and over again. We can't say, hey, I've never run before and I'm going to go run 20 miles tomorrow. Like, that's not realistic. You can do it, but then you're not going to be able to do anything for a week and a half after because you're going to have blisters. So it's not repeatable. And timely. By when? By when? So let's go back to the 52 date nights. It's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable. We could do 52 every year, and it's timely by the end of the year. Run a marathon on every continent. Is that specific? Is it measurable? Is it attainable? Yeah. Could I do it this year? No, it's not realistic. Can I do it someday? Absolutely. By when? Before I die. I want to lose weight. That's not smart. I will go to the gym 250 times this year. Specific, measurable, attainable, repeatable, and timely.
We'll go
It,
to the gym and work out and not just go to the sauna.
how about this? We can game this however we want. at the end of the day, we're all adults and we're all trying to move in a forward direction. So, yeah, but at the same time, maybe your goal is to go to the gym 5 times and not work out just to get the routine and see what traffic is like.
Yeah.
Specific, measurable, attainable, repeatable, and timely. Every goal. I want to make $200,000. Okay. How many appointments do we need? Specific, measurable, attainable, repeatable, timely. I want to get better. I want to read more books. No, I want to read 6 books in 2025. I will study 300 hours in 2025. That's how we take, I want to get better to smart, and I want to read more smart. 6 books. Once we have smart goals, we now move into the next model called the 411. And the 411 is a model near and dear and true to my heart. It is a productivity tool that drives goal setting to your desired end results and creates absolute clarity in what is necessary to achieve it. And it's simply one page with annual goals, the month of January's goals, and then we break the month into 4 weeks. And it looks like this. Annual goes at the top, personal and business. We would put our certain gardens and goals in up at the top. We would define what smart goals we will execute in the month of January in whatever garden we decide we're focusing on. See, not all plants have to be watered every single day. We can focus on 2 or 3 gardens every month and put them into some sort of rotation. We don't have to have all 8 gardens every single month. Oh my God, life is so crazy. Yeah, because it doesn't have to be. But relationships, our business, our health, we have to have goals with those. But our contribution and spirituality not necessarily has to be thorough. Adventure doesn't necessarily have to be every single month. It could, but this isn't about getting overwhelmed. This is about being clear in what drives us. Think of Michelangelo and David. The key with the 411 at the bottom is most months have 5 weeks. You will choose which one of the 4 weeks you're going to wrap the multiple days in. Is it at the beginning of the month or is it the end of the month? As you can see, 7, 7, 7, and the rest of the days. And so you will now look at what you need to do and break it accordingly. Every week, we stop and look at how we did with our SMART goals. So at the end of the first week, we ask these questions. What was my goal? What was my result? How do I feel about the result? Based on how you did, what are we now going to do this next week to move us closer to our month goal? Is there anything that might keep me from meeting these goals? What roadblocks are in front of me? So I'll break this down. My monthly business goal is 400 conversations. Week 1, my goal is 100 conversations. So go 100, 100, 100, 100 in an ideal world. Week 1, we spoke to 75 people. So at the end of the week, We go, all right, what was my goal? 100. How did I do? 75. How do I feel about it? Well, I really knew I was supposed to hit, but I'm going to come up with excuses as to why I didn't do it. Okay, cool. So, based on what you did, what's your new goal? Well, 125, because I got to make up the 25 that I missed. But you know what? No, no, no. I can't because I have two events during the week, and that's going to hinder it. But I'll do 12 extra this week. I'll do the 100 plus 12, and then I'll add the 12 into week 3 or 13, technically. So, what we do is we just move things down every week, like the Panama Canal. Boom, stop. Where are we at? Moving to the next week, stop. What do we need to do? Stop. Moving to the next week. And then we analyze how we did at the end of the month going into now February's 411, which our annual goals stay the same, but what are we doing in February? I'll give you guys a pro tip. For each of your months, look to see how many days am I going to work? That's the first SMART goal. Yes, there's 31 days in January, but I'm only working 16. There's 28 days in February. I'm working 20. Look at the calendar, look at your personal stuff, look at what events you have, and start each month with your actual working days of generating business. Clarity equals power. So, I just put out a video on YouTube about breaking down the 411. I am obsessed with my 411. I would never be able to run multiple businesses if I did not be obsessive about being clear in my objectives, because it goes back to Sherry what we were just talking about. If I say yes to somebody who knocks on my door, I got to say no to something else because I only have so much infinite time. I have finite time, not infinite time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get to make a decision every day because I am clear on what my purpose is because of my 411.
Absolutely.
So then we move into the next step, which is the life happiness audit. And the life happiness audit is something that I encourage you to create on a Google spreadsheet. And here are a list of topics that you can rate yourself where you believe you are today. So the goal is at the beginning of each quarter. So in January, or if you want to do it now, technically going into January, where are you at with diet and water intake? One, what is water? What? 10, I drink 64 ounces every single day. I crush my diet. Like I am on it. Where are you 1 through 10? Exercise. 1. Or I crush what I say I'm going to do with exercise. Your love for work, your love life, your relationship with your children, your passive income, hanging out with friends. 1 through 10, 1 through 10. So you would say 8, 9, 5, 6, 4, 3, whatever the number is associated with it. Add them all up at the bottom and then get the average. So get your average of where you are at the beginning of January. Then at the beginning of April, you do this again. Where are you now? The beginning of the second quarter. And it's super cool as you keep doing this over and over and over to see where you are and how you ebb and flow and evolve in your gardens, in your life, in how you feel at that moment. And because you're now focused on it, instead of just allowing life to happen, you can do something about it. You can now make a change if you choose to, because you're now conscious of where you feel you are 1 through 10. One of the coolest exercises to do. Then that brings us to we're down the home stretch. I'm putting it all together. Every Sunday, I lock down a group of time, whether it's first thing in the morning or late in the evening to prepare for the week. But usually it's first thing in the morning. I turn off my phone. No one, no, my wife knows not to mess with me. Like this is my time. I create a bunker. I grab my 411. I grab my phone for my pictures. I have my calendar open and I have my journal. You notice I didn't say email. No, this is us. This is our time. First thing I do is I visualize what my next week looks like. I have a blank calendar and I just write it out, write it out, write it out. And I'll show you guys what it looks like real quick. Boom, go here. So I found a cadence of a calendar. So this is what my this week looks like. Now it's fairly simple because it's a slow week, but this is what last week looked like. And I'm drawing out, writing out every single day, every what it looks like. This was the week before that. Right there. And I allow the visualization of what a perfect week would look like. I write out everything and then I go Monday, visualize, boom, 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 boom. Right after this, well, pretty any moment now, we have a couple coaches coming on because I got a meeting right after this. I envisioned that I got done a couple minutes early. Oops. But at least I put that into the universe on Sunday to attempt to get us here. I review my finances. I'm always budgeting and auditing my finances. Always. I'm tracking what's on my credit card. I'm tracking everything to see what my behavior and habits were, and I'm auditing them. And then I'm using prompts. I'm celebrating my wins, my successes, what I learned, what went right, what went wrong, all the cool shit that I've done, experienced. I'm writing it down, which is so fun. I'll go into my pictures, I'll go look at my calendar. I will allow my brain to just gush beautiful stuff at the beginning of or the Sunday planning my week. Now, a little pro tip. Start before you do all of this with 10 things you're grateful for.
Hmm.
And it just opens up receptors to allow this to happen a lot easier because you're in a moment of gratitude, which is why turning your phone off, not being on social media, this is your time to allow first creation, second creation to just vibrate and magnetize, which will move us to the raft. And the raft is a goal setting technique where you start with what my end goal is, what my result is. Then how will you benefit when you hit this goal? And what will be the switch costs of not achieving this goal? Then what are the exact action steps you will take to achieve this goal? In other words, like we did in the business plan, the Glover U business plan. What are the steps? What are the steps? What are the steps? How will you know if you're on track? What is the feedback? And then what do you get and do when you hit your goal? So, when you have this, share your goals with your kids, with your family, with your spouse. Create a vision board with your family. A pro tip for vision board, get a digital frame. They're super cheap now. You can get them on Amazon. Get a nice big digital frame and put all of the stuff you and your family want to do and achieve in there and let it just go on rotation. Instead of family photos, make it your dream board. Remember, if it's not in your schedule, it doesn't exist. And embrace the 137 model. And that is 1 day off a week, no excuses. Saturday, Sunday. 1 3 day weekend per month. There's a lot of holidays. Usually that's where we can use it. And 1 7 day shut off per quarter. 1 day off a week. No one wins a prize for working 7 days a week. 1 3 day shut off per month. And 1 7 day retreat shut off per quarter. Strive to get there. It's a model for absolute clarity. And so,
Okay.
Sherry, this kind of flows back to what you talked about earlier. We teach people how to treat us.
Yeah, just one quick second. I was writing. Did you say 1 day off a week or 1 day off a month?
1 day off a week. We
Week.
should all never work 7 days a week. It is
Okay.
the silliest thing we even think about doing as entrepreneurs. It's
Okay.
counterintuitive.
All right. So 1 day off a week.
At least 1 day off.
At
If you
least
take
one. I
two,
like
take two. Yeah,
Saturday and Sunday or
sure.
not,
Yeah, at least 1 day off.
at least.
Um,
Sorry
and when you
to
focus on
check.
expanse.
7 days off a year, at least.
No, a quarter.
3 days off per month, 7 days off per quarter. Thank you. See, this is the good stuff here.
Yep, yep, yep. So what I ask you guys to do is because I have another meeting coming in, um, jot down any questions you have. Feel free to shoot them over to me. It would be cool if I create content on answering them. So fire any questions so that I like back to me, write them down, type them out, send them to me, and we'll close it out from there. All right, because I got my next meeting starting off. Thanks, Luke, for sharing that. And Stephanie, I think I answered what the reverse bucket list is. And Merry Christmas. And I'll see you guys on the flip side. But send
All
me your
right.
questions so that I can answer them in video format.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
Thanks, everyone.
you.
Thanks, Lee.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. I think it's just us.